Yeah, hi there. These comments are for RS, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the Toefl IBT. So let's take a look here. You say, fortunately, I could finish the first steps of your course, scoring 90 consistently in all vocabulary quizzes, 90 in the post-test of the grammar step, and a 3.8 out of 7 in pronunciation. This is where you need to get better, obviously, right? So your goal here is to get 5.1 out of 7, not 3.8 out of 7, so you know that you need to do that. Now, another thing, with vocabulary, it's not just about, I think, getting high scores on the tests. I think it's about studying the words. You can take a lot of quizzes and get high scores eventually, but if you follow my system, and I'm going to say something crazy here, but I think it'll be very effective for your English, is I'm advising you to take every single word that you see, all 1,500 of my vocabulary words, and putting one word on one note card, and on the other side you can put a definition along with a sample sentence. And I'm asking you to do that for 1,500 words. If you do that, that will really make these words part of your permanent long-term memory. And then you actually will start using these words. So I think don't get too happy. It's not just about getting high scores on the vocabulary quizzes, but actually using the words in your speaking and writing. That's the most important thing you want to do there. You say, I know I need to improve my pronunciation score. However, I think it could be improved along with the next lesson because studying only pronunciation would not be too profitable. I agree with you. So what you can do is this. A lot of my videos, you can see caption. You can get caption on the videos, and you can read with me out loud as I teach you the information in the video. So you can do that. Now, to help you supplement pronunciation practice using other methods outside of my course, here are some recommendations. Watching movies, I think, is a good idea for you right now. If you can watch maybe 3 or 4 movies each week, watch those movies, really pay attention to how those speakers are communicating. I think that would further help you to develop more natural sounding pronunciation. In addition, I recommend, if possible, you join Toastmasters, a Toastmasters speaking group in your area. If you go to Toastmasters.org, you can see if there's any speaking groups in the city in which you live, either in your country or here in the United States. If there is a Toastmasters group near you, you can join that. Okay, let's keep going. You say, as you know, I have serious problems, especially with pauses and breaks in speaking. I have to work on it arduously and do what I'm saying. Listen to the radio, watch TV, listen to music. Really increase your exposure. You say, in that way, after having shown my situation, I'd like to ask you about the following steps. All right? You say, I was reviewing the listening sections and a few doubts have arisen. The course contains in this step many lessons and listening practice exercises. You are correct. So should I review these lessons and do the practice at the same time? Would it be better to review all the lessons before doing any practice? Here's what I would do. I would do one lesson at a time, right? Okay, so let's go to the listening part of my course for a minute. Let me see if I can find... Okay, here we are. So let's go back. Okay, so let me give you my recommendations of how you can use the listening and the reading parts of my course. So first of all, I'm going to go to the listening section, so section number 4, step 4. Okay, so here, let's start off with listening practice test number 1, right? So this is called Listening Practice 1, The Sun. So you preview your quiz here. Okay, so you listen to the lecture first, right? And let me go back. Okay, so you right-click on this. primary source of all energy for all living things on the earth. So you have the lecture there, right? So my first recommendation would be is to go ahead and take the quiz. And you've probably already done that, am I right? I have over 40 listening practice tests. Now what I'm doing is, remember that my strategy here is not just about getting a bunch of questions correct, but it's about using English, actually using it to your benefit to help you create long-term improvement. So first of all, when you listen to the lecture, you see what I'm doing here? I just do it like this. So you can go ahead and listen to the lecture, and you can use the lecture here you can use it, take down some notes, and then use it to answer these questions. Once you've answered your questions and you check your score, you're fine. But then that's not enough. What I'm asking you to do is to take the first lecture, actually write a 250-word summary of this listening passage based on your notes. That means that you have the energy received from the sun travels 150 million. So you're going to listen to this lecture several times, make sure your notes are complete, and then you write a 250-word summary of the lecture. That's what you want to do. That's going to be very good practice for your language, for English. You learn a lot of grammar, a lot of vocabulary, a lot of things. So you write that summary. Now then, when you're done with that, you can also practice speaking about the lecture to work on your integrated speaking. So again, using your notes, you can give a 60-second response of the most important points of the lecture that you've just listened to. Now, going back to your question. So what I'm saying here is review the lesson, do the practice at the same time. Yeah, so do listening practice test number 1. Answer the questions, so you've done the listening comprehension practice, then you write a summary, and then you practice speaking about it. Once you've done that, then move to number 2, then number 3, and number 4, and guess what? It will be more and more comfortable for you, and you know what's crazy? Think about it. You remember those vocabulary words that you studied in the first section of my course? You will see those words again in these lectures. Yes, I recycle all my vocabulary through all the 7 steps of my program. So by the time you finish my program, your vocabulary should be incredible. But that's why you put these vocabulary words on note cards, so that you can remind yourself of these words from every now and then you begin to recognize them. Okay, so think about what I just told you there. So let's go back. Okay, let's go back to your next question here. It says, taking into account the next weeks, I'm going to focus in these steps only. How many lessons or practice exercises should I do each day from each step, having a lot of time available currently? Here's the thing. I don't know about just doing listening and reading. I mean, you can do that. Or I think that's how I gave you, maybe that's the outline I gave you in the video. I would set a schedule of maybe, depending on what your time frame is, you have to make sure you have time to study in all the areas of my course. But I'd recommend maybe when you're doing your listening and reading practice, you're studying anywhere from maybe 2 to 3 hours every day, and then set whatever deadline you have, maybe a month, and then after a month, then you move on to the other parts of my course. That'll probably be okay. Okay, so you say, regarding the writing and speaking exercises based on the notes of the reading and the listening practice exercises, could I mail you those speaking and writing and have feedback on them? No, don't do that. When you're doing this kind of practice, I don't need to get involved in it. Now, when you're doing one of my speaking tasks, one of my writing tasks, that's when I want to get involved. But at this point, when you're doing the listening and the reading practice, and you're taking notes on those passages, and then you're writing and speaking about those, just do that in your own time. you don't really need me or anybody else to give you feedback on that. You're just getting comfortable using the words, using the grammar, using all of that in your own speaking, your own writing, and eventually it will become more and more natural to you, and you will begin to improve your grammar and also your vocabulary. No joke. All right? She says, sorry for the length of this email, but I consider all the questions written above very important to start this new stage of the course. Thank you so much, and you're welcome. So I think I have answered most of your questions that you've asked me here. All right? So if you get restless, you can do what you've been doing. You can send me speaking and writing practice tests on a weekly basis. Remember, I have over 300 speaking topics at my website. You're not going to run out of speaking topics, right? Especially given you can only send me one per day. You can only send me 60 seconds of audio per day. All right? And you can send me one writing practice test every day, and that will also be scored. All right? Anyway, thank you very much. Hang in there. You're working very hard. Remember, the whole purpose of my course is to give you a lot of practice with your English in many different areas, specifically vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. And that is why I call my course the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT. The longer you use it, the higher your score is going to get, and the better your English will become. And guess what? Students who use my course don't just get a high TOEFL score, but they actually have real English. They develop real English for real purposes. All right?